What is going on, guys? I'm Consumer Tech Review, and today we are going to be modding and upgrading the Keychron V1. Now, the reason I'm actually doing this is because I made the most controversial video I've ever made, and so I wanted to address some of the comments, as well as give this a second shot. Okay, so let's start off. First of all, we have this all taken apart. If you guys don't know how to take it apart, it's very easy. Bunch of screws right up there. It's still tray mounted, so it's not gasket mounted. It is tray mounted, but it still uses screws like that, which I kind of like. It's easier to get apart. So taking this apart, number one thing, these are the switches. They use the Keychron K8 Pro switches, which are not the G Pro switches. They're still pretty smooth, and they are slightly factory lubed. And then these keycaps are fine, but again, they're not budget. They're not premium, they're just there in the middle. If you're not an enthusiast, these are probably good for you and you'll probably be happy with these. As far as the switches, again, if you're not an enthusiast, you're probably gonna be happy with these. However, today we are gonna be upgrading them. All right, so the first thing while taking this apart, one thing that I do appreciate is that USB-C is right there on the actual PCB rather than having a daughter board, which I kind of prefer this for beginner mods. I think that's a better way of doing it. Also, we do have this button right here, which when we take this out, here we have the PCB. Obviously, screw-in stabilizers, again, not my favorite. However, we are not going to upgrade those for the sake of me proving my point about the stabilizers, which is that I think they're just kind of in the middle. The nice thing is this button stays there even when you take it apart. That's a nice touch. But overall, this feels nice. It's not the highest quality, it's not the lowest quality, but again, it is plastic. And we're gonna talk about the price here because, well, I don't think it's that great of a price, and there's gonna be an asterisk with that. So first of all, the dampening, we got this great silicone that, it just smells so good. I don't know why. I think the other Keychron, was it the other Keychron board that had this? We've had this before in another board. I don't know why, but it smells like flowers. It smells so good. So we are going to probably keep that in the case. Because without that, this case would probably not sound too good. All right, now the first thing to address, while we make this board a little bit louder, we're taking out part of the dampening because I think Keychron dampens their boards too much for my taste. This is just EVA foam. It's kind of middle ground. It's not super cheap, but it's also not the nicest stuff in the world. We're gonna be getting rid of this. Keychron's boards are too quiet. If you work in an office, this is gonna be good for you. But while we do this, the first thing I wanna address is the tone of the video, because a lot of people either got offended by it, and most of them were not subscribers. But we had a ton of comments that were very aggressive, and here's the explanation. When making the video, we were on a time crunch. We literally had 2 days to unbox it, use the keyboard, test the keyboard out, take the keyboard apart, figure out the angle that we were gonna take on the keyboard, and then write the notes, film the B-roll, shoot the A-roll, edit the video. So that all takes a long time, and doing that in 2 days is incredibly fast. So we're on the day of embargo and still finishing up the video that morning before 9 a.m., which is when the video went live. And I haven't edited CTR videos for a while now. And I've been switching off of having an editor do it and editing the videos, and that's been going on for months, but I've been editing some of them. This video was completely edited by my editor, and most videos I watch them before they go live. This one, I was not able to watch them before it went live because literally we were uploading it right at the embargo date. So the whole idea of the aggression was supposed to come off more as jest and comedy, and we were gonna put a bunch of different like effects in there and like do weird sounds on my voice. That's why I was kind of yelling, because it was supposed to be like a robot-y voice or something funny like that. However, I never saw the video until it went live, and obviously after seeing it, it was more aggressive. Also, during the filming, I filmed the A-roll. I came out and I asked Haley, I was like, that sounded pretty aggressive. You think that was too aggressive? And she was like, no, that's not, that sounds great. And so I was like, oh, okay. Figuring that we're just gonna do it all in the effects. And then time got really tight, and then we just put the video out. So the basic idea is if you go through the video, a lot of people were really angry, which is kind of funny because that was the joke in the video. If you say anything bad about Keychron, people are just gonna come at you. So that was kind of the joke. I don't think a lot of people got it, but the only things that I said were the board was boring, and I said Akko makes better boards. Well, in my opinion, I would rather have an Akko board over this board. However, I should have listed all of the boards that I was actually comparing them to in my head, but again, time crunch, all that stuff just didn't get put into the video. And what are you gonna do about that? We weren't sent the keyboard early enough. We were only sent the keyboard like a couple days. It only arrived a couple days, I think 2 days before launch. So we didn't even have that time to put in all of that work. And if you wait, then your video gets no views and you don't make a video about it at all. And that's how YouTube works. But while we're doing this, let's actually go over some stuff, because the only two things I said, this was boring. I said it was a good keyboard, but it's boring and it's kind of bland. And that's true. I stand by what I say. Right, and the other thing is a lot of people think that I'm sponsored. In fact, I'm one of the only I think I'm the only keyboard YouTuber that I know. Literally, I think I'm the only keyboard YouTuber that I know that has never had a sponsorship at all from any keyboard accessory company. I have only done sponsorships with 2 companies. That was a microphone company and LG. Those are the only 2 companies I've ever done sponsorships for, and both of those were really not that much money. And on this channel, I would never do a sponsorship for something like a keyboard, because that just completely removes all truth about it. And that's something that you can't say about a lot of other keyboard, if not all of the big keyboard YouTubers. So I will say that I've never taken money from Akko at all. The only thing that I've taken is affiliate commissions, and that's everything. That's how we make money. That's it. On average, the affiliate commissions that we make are usually about or less than $1 per keyboard. Typically, each video might sell 2 to 5 keyboards. Do the math there. We're not doing each of these videos for the money. I'm doing them because it's my opinion. All right, now the next thing that we're gonna talk about is, number one, we're gonna use sea salt lemon switches for the switches. These are lubed, so these are hand lubed. All right, but let's talk about the price of this. See if this is actually worth it. Not talking about anything bland. Regardless of my opinions of it, do I think this is worth it? Well, at a price of $74, typically, okay, it's on sale right now, but typically, that's all I can go off of, what it typically is going to be for a bare bone kit, which I think what most people are gonna want, 74 bucks. If you want the knob, somehow it's $10 more, okay, fine. Not the best knob, worth $10, I wouldn't say so, but okay. So now, if you want the bare bone knob version, which is probably the most popular version, we're looking right there at 84 bucks. Now, commonly known that Keychron charges $30 for their Q series for shipping. Tell me why? I don't know. Definitely doesn't cost $30 to ship those. For this one, because it's budget, they're like, yeah, we can't charge $30 for shipping anymore and extort people, so now it's only $15 for shipping. Still too much. Still too much for shipping, but that's my personal opinion. Okay, so the final price of this keyboard, if you want to buy it direct from Keychron with the knob as a bare bones kit, is about $100. It's $99. That's what it would cost. Now, what are the things that you get for basically $100? Well, you get QMK VIA. That's big if you're an enthusiast. But at the same time, if you're an enthusiast, would you buy this? Maybe if you're a budding enthusiast, but does a budding enthusiast need those things? Maybe. Would a budding enthusiast rather have really nice sounding stabilizers versus QMK VIA support? Personally, me, remembering back when I was a beginning enthusiast, I would much rather have nice stabilizers stock that I can actually mod and upgrade myself rather than having QMK VIA. You want that stuff after you have a nice keyboard. That's my personal opinion. Again, remember, these are all my opinions. So that's me personally. $100 is, you're getting these prices thrown around a lot, which is just not it's not the truth. That is not a $59 keyboard, which some people have like said. No, it's $100 if you actually want to buy it, because it's not free shipping. You know, then you do the price differences between the Q series and this series, and it's like, I would much rather have the Q series than this, because what is it? Like the Q3 is only a little bit, Q4 is only a little bit more. Q1 has been upgraded and modified. So the Q1's 150, the Q3 is 154, the Q2 is 150, the Q0, which is the number pad, is 70 bucks, Q5 is 165, and all of that is on Divinity. We'll also link them below. We are affiliated, so we will make sense on whatever you buy. But yeah, if you're spending 100 bucks, I mean, I would probably spend $50 more to actually get a full metal case. They do all sound and feel pretty dang similar. Now, do I think that this is like a revolutionary thing? A lot of people are saying, you know, you shouldn't hate on it so much, it's just a budget board. Well, first of all, I wasn't trying to hate on it. I was just saying it was boring. It was supposed to be funny and comedic. Video didn't turn out that way. That was my bad. But do I think it's not boring? Honestly, modding this is not super enjoyable. I mean, it's fine and it's easy to mod, but there's also not a lot that you can, I don't know, there's just not a lot to do. It's like the case is already silicone, which is great, but that also isn't very fun. You're not gonna wanna like, I mean, you could do your own silicone mold, but why would you do that? You could do butyl rubber, but why would you do that? It's really gonna sound very similar to the silicone. So you're not gonna really mess around with a bunch of different case dampening. You could do a tape mod on the back. You wouldn't wanna mod and re-lube these stabilizers just because they're not that good. So you'd wanna replace your stabilizers. Now you're looking at 25 bucks for nice ones, plus lube. It just doesn't make sense. To me, if it makes sense to you, go for it. However, I think probably a better alternative would be to spend more money for the Q series. I don't see how this fits in properly. For 100 bucks, and you can get basically almost all the Q series for 150 with free shipping on DiviniKey. That just doesn't make sense. So the Q3 was my favorite. Every generation, Keychron kind of updated their models, and then they updated the Q1 after a while. So it's like the Q1 V2 or something now. But Keychron kind of peaked, I think, with that one. And then all of these have just been kind of boring and the same. Now, as some people pointed out, the good thing about that is you're getting the same keyboard but different form factors, which is cool. And it definitely is cool because it's like, okay, you want a 75% or you want this or that, but this is gonna be every form factor. Mark my words, I don't know that, but I'm pretty sure they're just gonna come out with a 75, a 65, a 60, a TKL, an 1800, whatever, a full size. They're gonna come out with all of them, which is cool, but at the same time, I don't think the price difference is good enough where you shouldn't just buy the Q series and actually have a very much more premium feeling board. This doesn't feel premium. This just feels boring. However, you might say, okay, well, what if boring is something that someone wants? I did hear that or see that and read that in the comments. Well, the thing is, if someone just wants a board that they're, gonna have a nice board, like I just said, you can get the pre-built, it's just a nice board out of the box, fairly bland, but a nice board if you're just going to the office. Well, those people aren't going to do their DIY bare bones kit. They're not gonna do that. Why would they do a bare bones designed keyboard and then get the pre-built version? The pre-built version doesn't use the Gateron G Pro switches, which are, the K Pro switches are not quite as nice as the G Pros. At least to me, they don't feel as lubed, and the other ones feel and sound just a little bit better, although they are very similar. But still, why would you not get a K series board that is designed to be a pre-built and has the Gateron G Pro switches rather than getting this as a pre-built? That doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff that's just confusing, doesn't make sense, and for a legitimate list price of 100 bucks, I would say there's better options out there, more exciting options out there. Not that this is bad, and if you value QMK VIA and south-facing LEDs over a more special sounding and a more fun keyboard to mod and better stabilizers out of the box that can actually be used on a real custom build, then this is the board for you. If you value all that stuff over all of that. But to me, as an enthusiast, which is kind of funny, I was called not an enthusiast. They go, this guy is not an enthusiast. Yeah, what enthusiast wants QMK VIA over a nice sounding board? Like, you can obviously spend as much money as you want on any board that you want to. I could spend $1,000 on this board if I wanted to, but why would you do that? So that's kind of my point. Yes, the video was too aggressive, but I'm gonna give this a fair shot because obviously, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that I am, but maybe I am. We're gonna finish up this build. We're using Akko keycaps just to make the haters mad. Okay, I'm joking. It's not just to make you mad. It's because these are a little bit thicker keycaps and the sound profile, I know this very well. It does sound better than Keychron's base keycaps, which no one's gonna argue with. So we are gonna give kind of a, this is a legitimate set that you might actually buy if you buy a DIY kit like this. All right, guys, keycap time. While I'm doing that, so we're gonna talk about competition that I should have mentioned. So there is a lot of customs out there. There's a lot of customs that I have reviewed on this channel, and there's even more than that I haven't reviewed. So there are plenty of non-budget customs, and this kind of a budget custom. I mean, budget customs used to be GMMK Pros, and then it was the Q1, and then budget for custom keyboards just kind of lowered in price. But those were already budget. That's what was considered budget. So is this substantially more budget? Well, at $100, kind of, but not a whole ton. All right, and there the board is done. Okay, so the competition that I would recommend, if you're getting this, you're probably assuming, for most of the comments, they assume that it's a very cheap board, and it's not a very cheap board. They have a low list price, a discount right now, and then they charge you shipping, which is kind of crazy that it's even a flat rate. It should just be a variable rate like everywhere else. So for $100, this is kind of in a weird space. Like, is a beginner that's actually gonna buy it as a bare bones kit gonna spend $100 on this and not get something else, even something that Keychron makes, like the Q series. That seems a little weird to me. And then the other argument is made for people to get into the enthusiast community. The biggest part of a keyboard is not its features, but your ability to mod it, enjoy modding, and have fun with it. I've talked about this before. If you're a real keyboard enthusiast, you don't just enjoy doing custom bare bones kits. You enjoy modding budget keyboards. That's the most fun to do. So here is the board. Let's get a sound test of it. Then I'm gonna show you some other boards I personally prefer to build over this one that are less expensive by a lot. All right, this is the switch sound. We're gonna hold it up to the mic. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that actually sounds pretty dang good. So what I did is take out the foam, make it a little bit louder, add some PE foam. If you do that, and then you lube your switches and you have even budget nice switches, it's gonna sound good. But yeah, that's actually, the key sound is quite nice. I do like that. Yeah, for just key sound, but we haven't done the stabilizers yet. Overall, I would say that's pretty good. All right, but now the stabilizers. This is the thing that is really the thing that bugs me, is the stabilizers. These are also, I believe, the same stabilizers as on Q series. They don't feel good. They don't feel good, and they sound just off. You can go to anyone else also. Louis Toh, I don't know how to say the last name, T-O-H, but he did a stream of this. I also watched that stream, and you can also see his reaction to the stabilizers. They're always not there. I probably would not be happy with the stabilizers using them every day. This is like a bare bones kit that's supposed to be strong. And it's supposed to be strong because everyone's saying that they're screw-in, so they must be better than plate mounted. They're just not. They're just not. Here's the space bar. That one sounds nice. These sound nice. The feeling still isn't that great. And then those, I don't know. The funny thing about these stabilizers is they feel slow and they don't feel nice. So let's do a little comparison here. Here is a keyboard that I think cost 26 bucks after shipping. DIY kit, Tester 67, Tester 68. This is a custom that I made. These keycaps are half the price of these, so it's already not fair, as the keycaps do a lot. These are the stock stabilizers that are plate mounted stock. We're talking cheap, bro. This is what it sounds like. And this one again. Keychron always has that higher pitch. No matter what keyboard, it's always gonna be, you can hear it. I mean, this sounds good, but listen. And this has silicone back here. They always just have higher pitched boards, which is, I don't know, it's just not my thing. TM680, this was also modded, also a creamy build. That's why I'm bringing out all of these. But a TM680, much less expensive than this one, again. All right, and then I think this was very, very lightly modded. In fact, they're very similarly modded right now. So I didn't do a tape mod. This board is, I think, primarily stock. The only thing it's not stock, I think, is the keycaps. The switches are lube, but the switches come on this board standard. These are Akko's own switches, and the stabilizers were not modded. Now, I will say, the enter and delete key, there's no comparison. The Keychron sounds better, but the space bar, that is a pretty substantial difference right there. This one also feels bad and slow. I think it's the lubing, but also at the same time, I've re-lubed these a lot before and they just never come out. All right, now here is my Q3. This one still has the stock keycaps on there. I think it still has the stock switches. No, I did put Akko switches in these, and then this is how this one sounds. You can see that space bar is just not there, but we'll get a quick sound comparison. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I was expecting them to sound a little bit different. Okay, so this one's slightly deeper, this one's slightly higher pitched, but these are also different switches. So in fact, let me take one off really quick before my camera dies. Okay, these are not Akko switches. I forgot. I ran out of Texi carrot switches. So these are carrot switches. So right over here are the Akko switches, but right here are most of these are Texi carrot. So we're gonna switch this over. See the difference in sound right here. So this one's slightly deeper, this one's slightly higher pitched, but really like a very similar sound profile. That's the thing that I just don't like too much about their keyboards. Now, I wanna say this. Do I think this is a good keyboard? Yes, I do. I think it's a good keyboard. I think it's feature packed. I don't think all the features are that great. Like the stabilizers, screw in, but they're not that good. They're not that good on this one. They're fine, they're acceptable, but you're gonna wanna upgrade them. And on a budget board like this, lower the price point, just don't even include stabilizers. That would be my thing. And I think over something like this, these stabilizers can be modded to sound incredibly good. So these are two Akko boards. We're gonna do the stabilizer spacebar sound test. This is modded with the stock stabilizers from Akko. This is a PC75B Plus. Super tight. Just sounds fantastic. Now this is with unlubed. This is a totally stock board, unlubed, tactile switches, no mods at all. These are the stabilizers. Same ones, but stock. Now obviously there you are hearing the switches more than anything, so we're gonna just pop this switch out of here really quick. All right, so this is what it sounds like with a linear switch. That, ladies and gentlemen, is stock, not screw in. That's a stock plate mounted. Stock, boys, stock. That's what I'm saying. So these are good keyboards, and we got a lot of boards right here, right now. But the point is, if you wanna buy this, go get it. I would personally wait until DiviniKey has it. I'm sure they're gonna have it. That way you can buy some switches at the same time and save on shipping. Then you don't have to pay the $15 shipping, which is just ridiculous. So I would wait until it's on DiviniKey. They have all the other Keychron boards. I would assume this one is also going to go to DiviniKey. Don't know for certain. The only reason I would get this would be if you absolutely know that you are going to use cherry profile switches and you don't want interference. However, interference is only a thing on some switches, like a lot of switches. In fact, I would say most switches probably don't have interference. Most like custom switches, not obviously like normal switches, but custom switches are not gonna have interference. Most of them won't. You can also look it up online or on Reddit and they'll tell you. So that's one thing. So not all north-facing switches are going to have interference with cherry profile keycaps. But if you know that you want cherry profile keycaps, if you know that you have switches that are going to have interference, then you need south-facing LEDs. And having VIA support, if that's really important to you and you're an enthusiast where it's that important that you have to have it, you could get this. But for a little bit more, you could get this, which weighs like 1,000,000 times more, is 1,000,000 times more premium, and is really the same keyboard overall, but has a nicer case, which really at the end of the day, that's pretty much all a keyboard is. And you also get gasket mounts, which I think is more fun and easier and just better overall to mod. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it makes that much sense. And honestly, I think it's boring. You can hate me all you want, but that's my opinion. And at the end of the day, I don't hate you if that's not your opinion. I don't think you're a bad person if that's your opinion. But this was the video to clear up all the controversy. The most controversy I've ever gotten when talking about keyboards. I literally never thought I would have that much controversy talking about keyboards when I started this, ever. However, the Keychron community is very passionate about their Keychron boards. But this was Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember, links to a bunch of these keyboards will be below. If I feature them in the video, they'll be linked below. They are affiliate links and they do help out this channel. But yeah, Consumer Tech Review is me. You are you. Great person. See you guys later.